Gratitude, 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 and peace. This is your brother Yosef, and I'm back for another video, family. Back on New Life Tools for another video. And New Life Tools Ministries. That's my backup channel, y'all. New Life Tools Ministries. So, in this video, family, we're going to talk about the mystical path versus the magical path. I bet some of you guys didn't even know there's a difference. That's right. So when you walk this spiritual path, family, there's two paths you can go. The mystical path and the magical path. Okay? We're going to talk about that and help you guys understand which side of the fence that you want to walk. Because what we're talking about, family, is not left hand and right hand path. Because these two paths you can follow on the left hand or the right hand path. Right? It doesn't matter. I'm just trying to say there's two paths you can walk on to reach enlightenment. You can reach it through the mystical path or the magical path, all right? And that's what we're going to talk about in this video, all right? I also want to talk about the event that we have coming up, family. Before we start, I want to say two things. The first thing is we have an event that's coming up July 8th. You can go to my website. The link will be below the video, newlifetoolstravelministries.com. We have an event coming up called the Mystical Mind Conference. The Mystical Mind Conference, family. When I tell y'all this is going to be one of the lectures that I'm going to drop probably the most. I get to go in for a long time on this one, right? I'm going to drop some of the most deepest stuff I've never even talked about. And for those of you guys that went to the Atlanta lecture, you guys know I dropped a lot of information in there. And shout out to everybody that came to the South Carolina lecture. But and we're going to talk about that in a second. But family, I'm going to drop a lot of information on this one. It's called the Mystical Mind Conference. And there's a reason why I called it that. We'll get into that in this video, right? So it's going to be July 8th, family. This year, 2023, July 8th. You can get your tickets on my website, the Mystical Mind Conference. Come on out. We also have a VIP on there, a VIP section where you get to have dinner with Brother Yosef, Brother Dreamwise, and Sister D-Ray. You get to have dinner with all of us. Ask any questions you want. And this is the day before the conference. So the day before the conference, if you pay for the VIP package, you get to have dinner with us. Ask questions, have a good old time, eat some dinner with us the day before the lecture. It's going to be real dope, family. Some people are already signed up for it. So I think there's a limited amount of seatings on that. So you guys might want to sign up for that as soon as possible. But as far as the lecture go, we starting to sell tickets, family. So we want to let you guys know, get your tickets as soon as possible. Come on in, be part of the Mystic Mind Conference. It's going to be a really good time, family. A really good time, all right? So come on through, family. Link is below the video, all right? Also, you guys who came to the South Carolina lecture, we had a good time there as well. I can't stop talking about how good that food was, that vegan food that we had, the stuffed peppers and all that. It was some good stuff, you know what I'm saying? It was some good stuff, family. So, shout out to Sister Atawana for that. Also, on her website, backwardsrealm.com, we have the lectures up. So, if you guys want to purchase the lecture, you could purchase it through her website. It'll be on my website in the future, but I don't know when in the future, but it'll be on my website in the future. But for right now, it's on her website, and you can purchase it from her website, family, at Backwoods Realm. I have the link below the video, backwoodsrealm.com. All right, you can purchase the video for the South Carolina lecture, which was called Building the Quantum Body. All right, so the Mystical Mind Conference is what we got coming next, y'all. Get the tickets, all right? Get the tickets, family. They are there. We're looking forward to seeing some of you guys. I met a lot of you guys for the first time in South Carolina. Looking to meet a lot of you guys for the first time in Houston. So come on down, family. Come on down. All right? So, yes, family, we're talking about the mystical path versus the magical path. And for some of you guys who bought my ebook, you've heard me mention this before in my ebook, okay? You can get it on Amazon. Right now, I think that's the only place you can get it is on Amazon. But you can purchase it on Amazon. The Mystical Path, the 4D Ascension Manual. It's a short ebook. Got a lot of good information in it. You can get it right on Amazon.com. All right. It's called the 4D Ascension. All right. 4D Ascension Manual. I think that's what it's called. Uh, I got so much stuff going on. I forget my name, my stuff half of the time. Yes, it's the 4D family. Just type in Brother Yosef on Amazon. It'll pop up. So, we're going to talk about the mystical path and the magical path. And this is very important, family, because I want you guys to understand why we're calling our conference the Mystical Mind Conference. We're going to get into that. And I want you guys to truly understand the difference between what is something that is mystical and what is something that is magical. Okay? What is something that is mystical and what is something that is magical. I want you guys to really understand this because, you know, some of us think that everything is magic. Some of us think that everything is a demon. You know what I'm saying? Some of us think that everything is the devil. You know what I mean? So we want to make it clear on what is what and why you feel the way you feel about certain paths in magic. This will answer the questions in that, family, all right? So the mystic path or mysticism, family, it represents a person who is trying to find truth inside of themselves. So they don't too much look outside of themselves to deities, to people. Everything is about within. So right away you will meet people that you come across, and I came across a lot of people like this who don't really want to do, you know, they want to get into rituals. They don't want to get into, you know, altars. They don't want to do no altar work, right? They don't want to do none of that, right? They want to just meditate, and they want to just go within, and they want to manifest that way as well. So they choose to manifest that way as well. And they're on a spiritual path, all right? It's just that they're more of a mystic person, all right? Because in the mysticism, family, you become the tools that you need to grow. Let me say that again. In the mysticism, you become the tools that you need to grow, okay? And that's very important to understand, family. That's very important to understand, all right? Because the truth is really everything you really need is inside of yourself. So the mystical path tends to be a little bit harder to go by because it takes a lot of patience. And everybody ain't got the patience when they can do some magic and get it like that. It's not wrong if you can get it like that. If you know how to do magic correctly and get it like that, there's nothing wrong with that. It's that some people don't have the patience to really look inside themselves and to find themselves, right? Or look for the tools they need to overcome certain situations. They rather use magic, right? So in mysticism, family, you usually look inside of yourself for the tools you need to grow. And they are there. They are there, family. Now, my style of magic and spirituality is both. I mix both of them together. I mix the magical and the mystical together, which is fine as well. All right. And the truth is, most people do that. They just don't know they do it. But every now and then you'll find that person, they straight magic. And you'll find that other person, they just want to do some yoga. They want to do some meditation. And they're spiritual. Right. And they looking for how to find God within. Right. So mystical people, family, they tend to exit themselves or cut themselves off from society to a certain extent. So introverts are the perfect mystics. Right? Introverts are the perfect mystics because they tend to cut themselves off from society and they kind of are weird. You know, they dress like hippies, mystics, most mystics, you know what I'm saying? And they kind of go off in the mountains. They want to live off in the mountains somewhere. Most modern mystics today choose to live out in the country. They get them a house out in the country and they practice their meditation and their spirituality that way, right? But mystics definitely, a true mystic definitely cuts themselves off from society and they go find creator inside themselves, right? Or source, right? They go look for the source inside themselves, but they're the type of people, they need to cut themselves off from society. They don't want to be involved in society at all. They don't like society. They're rebels. They rather do it a different way, and that way is finding truth within, all right? Now, when you're dealing with some of the experiments that include mysticism, I'll name a few as, you got psychedelic trips. That's right, psychedelic trips. So people who take, You know, back in the day, they would take like peyote, they would take like ayahuasca, and they would be gone, and a shaman would be there beating a drum and guiding them through their spiritual experience. That's what used to happen back in the day. That still happens today, but it doesn't happen as much. People kind of are very bold today, and they tend to take the trips by themselves without even the help of their spirit animal. They don't call in their spirit animal or nothing. Which, if you're doing mushrooms or any type of psychedelic, you should definitely call in your spirit animal, right, to help you and guide you through those trips. But a lot of people today, there's nothing wrong if you choose to do mushrooms, or nothing wrong with that, right? But you should definitely have some type of guide to take you deeper into the experience. And you should definitely call on your animal spirit, who's always there. Call on your animal spirit. Or if we can get in touch with a shaman and say, hey, can I hire you for a couple hours just to watch me as I go within? Because that's really what's happening when you're having a psychedelic trip, a soul trip. They're going inside of your soul to fix things, or to repair, or to wipe away some of the darkness that's inside of you, right? That's why I know atheists personally who took mushrooms for the first time. They were spiritual. You know, they came out of taking mushrooms. They were spiritual, you know. So I have no problem with mushrooms. Take them, family. No problem with that at all, you know. So you got people who do psychedelic trips. You got people who have visions, right? Dreams. When you have dreams at night, that's a type of mystical experience you're having, right? But it's something that you're dealing with within. You don't go in a dream and you go out there. You go in a dream, you go to the fourth dimension inside of yourself. Right? It exists inside of yourself, and it's a web that's connected with all of us. That's what the fourth dimension is. Some people call it the innerverse, right? Or journeying within. So dreams are a type of mysticism, if that makes sense as well. Dreams are a type of mysticism when you have dreams, right? That's why sometimes they're hard to figure out. You got to have a mystic mind to do that. You got to have a mystic mind to do some of those things, right? So people also in mysticism experience the spiritual through the physical. So they experience the spiritual world and everything through their physical body by activating energies in their body, right? So they know, a mystic knows that his body's a shell. He knows that, and he experiences the spiritual through that, through the physical body. Also, mystics are all about spiritual evolution. They're all about spiritual evolution, okay? That's what they're seeking, to become one with the all. All right? They're seeking to become one with the all. So they're seeking that spiritual evolution to become one with the all, or if you want to call it source, or if you want to call it God, or if you want to call it creator, the great spirit, whatever you want to call it, right? Also, believe it or not, mystics are very big into prayer, right? They believe in prayer. They believe that prayer changes things, right? So in this spiritual path, one thing you're going to learn is to never put down anything spiritual that somebody do. I don't care if somebody come up with a system where they lick their kneecaps to become spiritual, okay? If it's taking them to a higher dimension, let them people do what they do. And I know for a fact, as a spiritual person, that prayer changes things, right? And somebody said it very beautifully that prayer is talking to God and meditation is listening. So I definitely recommend after you pray that you go into a meditation, if you're really seeking something from heaven, from the higher ups, right? There's nothing wrong with prayer, family. I want to put that in your head. If you believe it, there's nothing wrong. If you don't believe what I'm saying, cool. I'm not trying to convince you. My job is to give you information. Your job is to figure out what to do with the information. I'm just here to do what I'm supposed to do, give you information. And I'm telling you right now, there's nothing wrong with prayer. There are some of the most powerful prayers that exist in the world that can change your life. My Patreon members know that. You know what I'm saying? By the way, if y'all want to follow me on Patreon, link is below the video, family. The Patreon members know that. All right? So, let's talk about the magical path, right? Y'all got a good idea about what the mystical path is. It's all about going within, right? The magical path, family, is about using the elements outside of your body to grow or manifest. Let me say that again. Magic is about, and there's different definitions to magic. I'm going to give y'all my definition of magic. Magic is about using the elements outside of your body to grow and manifest whatever you want. Okay? We do, if you look around, we live in a physical world, and this world consists of elements. If you're a magician, if you're a true magician, one of the first things you should learn how to do is work with the elements, family. Right? Besides your ancestors, one of the first things in magic you should learn how to do is work the elements. You should understand every element. You should understand how every element works. And you should understand how to apply that element to your life or your situation. Okay? Another thing that magicians do is they use magical tools, okay, outside the body to hack into the matrix. So I like to call magicians spiritual hackers, right? Because magicians know how to hack into this outside world to get what they want. They know how to hack into the system using magic, using the elements. They can hack into the world around them and change the environment to get what they want. A mystical person ain't worried about that. A mystical person is only focused on the inside. You know, who are some mystic people? You got my boy Muji. You got Saj Guru. Just to name a few. What's the guy that some people say he was a little off, but he used to say a lot of deep stuff. I can't pronounce his real name, but he had a foundation called OSHA, right? That's on there. That's on YouTube. There's another famous one guy. I can't think of his name right now. He's a white guy. Joe Dispenza, right? It's another guy too. He's real big. I can't think of his name. But you guys know who I'm talking about, right? It's a lot of people that study mysticism. Like somebody who teaches mindfulness, that's mysticism. Mindfulness is mysticism, right? So there's a lot of people who teaches mysticism out here. And that's fine because they teach you, hey, focus, hey, nah, don't even look out there. Focus on the inside. And that's very powerful because it teaches you how to be in control of yourself and your emotions. Because if you control yourself, you can control the world around you. That is the facts. Magicians usually use tools. They know how to hack into the earth element or the air element or the fire element or the water element or ether to get anything they want out of the world, right? That's what magicians knows how to do. And magicians, another thing with magicians, family, they change the world around them. A mystical person don't do that. A mystical person ain't coming to change the world around them. A mystical person is coming to change themselves. That's their world. A mystical person is coming to change the world inside of them. A magical person is changing the world around them. Okay? By using magic. They're creating their own world. Now, of course you can evolve with magic. Of course. But it requires tools outside of your body to evolve with magic, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you look at a lot of the deities and the gods, they use axes and hammers and staffs. They use tools too. So gods are the perfect example of somebody who's mystical and magical at the same time. They don't just use their god powers, but they also use weapons. All the gods got weapons. And a lot of times the reason why is because it goes down. As a deity, it can go down at any time. You may have to square up in the spirit world at any time. You got to be ready. You got to have your axe on you. Yeah, you got to have, got to have your bow and arrow, whatever you got. The gods fight all the time. So you never know when you got to square up. You got to be in the spiritual realm. You got to be ready. So the gods have known to carry their staffs and their bows and their axes and their swords, right? And all these things they carry. They carry all these things, right? So the Vajra is another weapon my spiritual father carries, the lightning bolt, right? So they all have weapons, these gods, right? To protect themselves. Yes, the gods need to protect themselves too, apparently, right? So that's something to understand, family. Magicians change the world around them. They use magic to do that, right? They tap into the elements, use magic. A mystic person is trying to change themselves. So you know, before we move forward, you got to ask yourself that question, right? Who really are you? Right? Are you more of a mystic? I teach magic and mysticism, right? I teach both. And sometimes I run across people that say, you know, Brother Yosef, I'm not really ready for the altar work. And I tell them, okay, cool. I don't tell them to be a mystic, but I say, cool. Meditate, pray, you know what I'm saying? And try to find yourself within, do some shadow work. Shadow work, meditate, and pray. You're being spiritual when you do that. You don't have to do rituals just to do magic, right? You don't have to do that, okay? Now, let's talk about some of the magical experiences that include being a magician. What are some of the experiences that magicians go through, right? Well, magicians tend to use herbs, right, to work spells. So they're very big into spellcraft, spell work, right? They'll use these things to work spells, okay? They'll use these things to work spells. And, you know, one of the most famous things is herbs. Usually, night of the full moon, you know, certain time of the year, certain power day that we have. Usually, somebody gonna get some herbs, rub it on a candle, and do a ritual. Somebody somewhere in the world is gonna rub some herbs and do a ritual. A mystic person will go inside themselves. It don't make them better either. It's just what they do, right? So that's one of the things they do. Magicians also exercise their power through objects like magical wands. So they exercise their power through a magical wand, right? Or crystals, or, you know, working with deities. This is what magicians do, right? They work with deities. They'll have magical wands or staffs, right? They'll exercise their power through these things, right? They'll also work with symbols, amulets, and talismans as well, right? For protection and stuff like that. The mystical person make themselves into an amulet or a talisman. So I know what you guys thinking, right? A lot of you guys probably thinking like, Brother Yosef, it seems like the mystical person is more powerful than the magical person. No, it's not true. Because what the mystical person is trying to achieve could take years. It don't take a lot of years to learn magic. It really don't. If you learn it the correct way from the ground up. Too many people say they know magic and they don't know the basics, the elements, right? The elements. Working with your ancestors and the elements should be the basics of your magic. If you can't tell me how to work that air element in this world, or how to work that earth element, what it's even for, you know, like I told you guys one time, told you guys this before, and I don't give too much away, but I tell you guys this before. If you want to pull something down from the astral plane, just attach it to the earth element. Attach an earth element to something that you want from the astral plane and pull it down. Game over. That's how you get what you want real fast. Right? And, you know, I want you guys to take all this as this is my own opinion. Make sure you do your own research. This is not legal advice. This is not medical advice. This is not any advice. This is all just do your own research, right? I'm not giving you any advice. These are my own ideas that's coming out of my head, family, and from my own research, right? I got to say that because they also starting to take down some of my videos again. Taking down some bangers, too. That bothered me, man. But a good thing I got them all backed up, right? But, what was I talking about? So, yeah, they, man, what was I saying? Yeah, so I don't want you guys to think that I'm putting down the mystical person is better than the magical person. No, you need to learn the element. So, with the earth element, family, you know, blood is the most powerful earth element there is. One of the most powerful. One of them. Right? So when people attach that in rituals, they tend to pull down what they want, including even deities. including even deities a lot of times, right? So, that's how those things work, right? And you can tap and use elements to do anything, send messages around the world, to make sure somebody got a message, to heal people. You can tap into the elements to heal, right? To do a lot of things, family. To communicate with animals. You can tap into these elements to do all kind of things. So that's the basics of magic. That's why I tell people study Wicca. People downplay Wicca and think it's not important, but Wicca is the basis of magic. You don't got to become a Wiccan. Just study it. Just study it, you know? So I'm saying all this to say, family, that I love magic, right? Magic helped me change my life, right? But at the same time, the world that we're going into, all is becoming mystical. All is becoming mystical. And magic is changing. Magic is not the same type of magic it was before. It don't got the same oomph to it. I said something in my lecture in South Carolina that I want you guys to think about. I said, hey, what are you guys going to do when, if, I'm not saying this is a fact. I'm saying if, because I don't want to get this video shut down. But what are you guys going to do if, let's say Bill Gates supposedly, take on, he changes he buys the crops and everything becomes genetically modified, right? And you start buying your sage and you buying your herbs, and they ain't hitting like they used to hit before, right? Because the sage is genetically modified, it ain't hitting like it used to hit before. So you around the house, you spraying the house, you sage in the house, and it ain't hitting. It's only working at 20%, right? It ain't the same sage that you once had because it ain't real pure sage anymore. The herbs you buy, the herbs ain't real pure herbs no more. What are you going to do? There's a law right now that they're trying to pass to turn all herbs into pharmaceuticals. That's a fact. That's out there. They're trying to turn all herbs into pharmaceuticals. Okay? That's something they're trying to pass right now. So I'm saying all this to say this, family. What are you going to do when you can't use the elements? The earth elements don't got the same power that they had no more. What are you going to do? Right? You need to learn some new technology, some new technological magic, which I did give away some of this in the lecture, Building the Quantum Body, that can allow you to change things, right? That can allow you to change things in your life. All right? That's what you're going to have to do, right? Or you're going to need to become a mystic and become the spiritual protection that you need that's already inside of you. You got to find it, right? You're going to have a mystical mind, right? And what that entails is using the power that you have inside of yourself to manifest whatever you want into the world. Over waiting for a full moon and doing a ritual during a full moon. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm saying that we could live in a time in the future where that may not hold the same weight that it had at one point. And what are you going to do when that's all you know? You're going to have to develop a mystical mind. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. So that's something I want to start sharing with you guys more, mystical things and the mystical mind things, so you guys can transform your magic into more of a mystical path and start believing and using your own energies to manifest what you want into this world. All right? That's what I want to do. It's Brother Yosef. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Once again, if you guys want to come to the lecture, July 8th in Houston, Texas, the link is going to be below the video. You guys can get that. Also, Building the Quantum Body is below the video. And also, if you want to join my Patreon, it's right below the video. Love you guys. I'll see y'all in the next one. All right? Peace, family.